All right, all right. The three primos are reunited and it feels so good, baby. We're ready to rock and roll. Cousin Oz, the people's mailman, cousin Tony, the architect, and the one, the only cousin Los, the collector. Together we form Cousins Collectibles and we're ready to take the hobby by storm. But before we all do that, let's go ahead and get a recap of the Philly show and RetroCon, which took place this past weekend. So good times, gentlemen. Welcome back, Los. How has it been since your last appearance, brother?
I tell you what, man, it's been too long, and I'm glad we're here. It's I've got a lot to say and I got a lot to share. You
Nice,
know,
nice. Tony, any thoughts?
Yeah, man. I mean, we had a freaking hell of a Saturday, so I'm looking forward to chopping it up. It was interesting to say the least, and I don't want to let too much out of the bag. So let me just kick it back to you, and we'll kind of go from
Yeah,
there.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So let's get into the show. We're gonna get into specifics, but everyone's initial reaction to the show. Los will let you go first. So, this past weekend it was actually the Philly show, and it was RetroCon, which is a toy collector show. And again, Tony was saying we had a hell of a time. So, Los, what was your first initial reaction? We did RetroCon first.
uh, I mean, I've been going to this thing for the last for the 10 years that it's been in existence, and I've never seen it this packed. Uh, this amount of people, this amount of energy in
Mhm.
that room. Well, it's not really a room, but that warehouse, if you will. Um, it was it was probably the best one I've been to so far, and that's not saying that just because you guys were there and made it even more fun. That's probably the most electric and loud it has been in that room since it started. So you guys came on the right weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah,
You know.
Tony.
Yeah, I mean that thing was crazy. I got there. Los was already there by the time I got there, and um, long line, which I'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But we get in, and it was nice, man. They had it set up pretty, pretty standard rows, up and down, this and that. But yeah, the energy was there right away,
Mhm.
and you got the cosplay, you got a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and cool people. Totally different vibe than the room next door, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But I was like, wow, okay, here we go. And you want to talk? Okay, yeah, the cards, whatever. But bro, nostalgia out the wazoo,
and
overload.
and that's what it is nostalgia overload, and that's what everybody's like, oh my god, they see something they haven't seen since they were 10. They haven't seen something, their brother used to have, and it was like, oh, I used to play with that. All that comes back, and all of it, no matter if you were really into it as a kid or if you weren't, something's going to trigger you, and something's going to make you go, damn. This I miss that. I miss my childhood. I miss, I remember when I got this, or I remember when my cousin got this. You know what I mean? Those memories come back, and they come back pretty quick. You know.
Agreed, agreed. And I was running a little late. So, I was kind of like FOMOing myself. I was like, damn, and that's my fault. Because
Yeah.
cousin Oz, he works a lot of hours. So that day I kind of hit the snooze button
Yeah.
one too many times. So these guys are like, yo, where you at? Where you at? I said, I'm coming. Chill, chill. And it wasn't too
Yeah.
far. It was like a 45-minute drive, right?
Yeah.
So we went ahead, and it was in Oaks, I believe. So it's close to Philly.
Yes.
And like I said, the cool thing was Philly show on one side, and then you had RetroCon. So there's two lines, and I'm thinking I'm gonna get right in, and this is gonna go ahead and roll into the next question, Tone, in which we'll talk about the lines, man. Insane, bro.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people going into the card show. You saw everybody with their Zion cases, and that was cool. But dude, when I showed up, that line was around the building, and that was for the people that already had pre-registered. So there was two different lines,
Right.
which was the pre-registration line, which was wrapped around the building, and then you had the people that were buying their tickets right then and there. Who, when I first got there, my brother was first in line pretty much
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
the paying of the tickets, and he laughed at me because I was like, "Bro, can I get?" He's like, "No." He's like, you got to buy the ticket here. You're already pre-registered. You got to go all the way down and around the building. And I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah. So I'm looking, dude, and I'm walking and I'm walking and I'm walking. And I get to I'm like, what the heck? It was wrapped around the corner, and everybody for the card show is just boop right in. And I'm like,
Mhm.
bro, I call up Tony and I call up Los. I'm like, yo, I'm here, but I don't know what time I'm getting in that joint. So it's
Right.
like, yo, do what you guys got to do. I'll hit you up. Now the line did move pretty quickly, once they got everything rolling with the pre-registration. But it was funny because I told Tony when I got in, waiting in line, it's almost like a different language when you compare the toys and the cards. I'm sitting in there, and there's like levels of I would say like nerddom or geekdom. I don't know if that's a word,
No,
but I'm
no,
gonna make it up today.
yeah,
But
we'll
of
roll with it.
nerdiness,
Right, right.
and I consider myself a nerd, and these guys put me to shame. I'm sitting
Oh
next to
yeah,
two guys that were talking like a different language, bro, about some type of show that I know of, but they were on some other, level of speaking. And like I said, it was alien to me. And I was just like, dude, and they were all about it. The three of them were
right.
going back and forth. And I was like, man, what are these guys talking about? But it was awesome because they're there, and then right behind them, there's all these people dressed up in the cosplay, and
Mhm.
I mean, dude, the whole experience just before you even get into the show was off the hook.
Yeah.
It's that pre-register, everybody's taking advantage of the price for 2 days. You know what I mean? And that line is ridiculous, man, compared to the 1 day people. Um, but like you said, it went pretty quickly. But as somebody who's always done the 2 day pass, you have to, because it makes no sense to go 1 day if you could go both days. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's why I wanted to get there early
Mhm.
and be in line early, because you get that hour, like we talked about. You get that hour before the doors open to the general public. So to me, I'm like, well, we got to take advantage of that hour and get as much, or see as much as we can before this place is.
So what time did you actually get in? Was it 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock is when they open the doors for the
Okay.
pre-registered people.
Oh,
Um,
that's right. That's why Danny had to wait.
you had to wait till 10.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. He had to
Right.
wait a 10 to buy. Okay, I got it.
Right.
Now, because I was like, what
Yeah.
hour are you talking? Like, I didn't get it. I mean, there's all these
Yeah.
people coming in, but you're talking about the actual people that were paying there.
Right. 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 So that's why Danny had to wait that hour, because he
Gotcha.
was he was buying that day. And it's a little benefit, but it's still a benefit, of that hour, because
Hmm.
you could do a lot in an hour. You
Yeah.
know, you could do a lot, you could see a lot. So
Yeah. I remember asking you what time you were gonna, we were talking before.
yeah,
Hey, what time we're gonna get there? You said, I'm gonna be there at 8. It was like 8 o'clock. I was like, what are you gonna tailgate for the thing? And then here when I roll up, I got there around 8:15-ish,
yeah.
and the line was
And
already
I was
pretty deep.
and what was I like 6, 7? I was behind 7 people, six
Yeah.
people, or whatever,
Yeah.
something like that. So
Yeah.
it got packed pretty quick, and it was a trip. We were next. Danny was there first, and and me and him were talking and this and that, and then all of a sudden they put that rope in the middle to separate, and Danny's like, "All right," I said, "Well, yo, we can't talk to you no more. You're those people. You're the
Yeah,
The
that
you're
other
the
you
same. Yeah,
it
yeah.
was
We
the
can't
haves and the
the
have-nots.
haves and the have-nots."
But
So
one thing I wanted to make a point of too was you talk about the line, dude. That Okay, yeah, it was the line was long in the beginning of the day for that toy show.
yeah.
It was like that until at least 1-2 p.m.
Mhm.
So I mean, forget about who the vendors, bro. The door at that toy
Oh,
show
they had to make
dwarfed.
out like bandits, bro. My
Yeah,
God,
dwarfed the card show. I mean, the card show
absolutely.
after the initial little rush in the morning, you could just walk right in.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm sure those people were probably peeking over and going, "What the heck is going on over there?"
Yeah.
But I mean, that thing was wild, bro. It was wild. So let me ask you guys. Okay, so Oz, this was probably first toy show, correct?
Mhm.
Right, right. And Los obviously is a veteran of the
Right.
toy show game. So what were you guys looking to accomplish at RetroCon, and do you feel you hit those goals?
You should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Well,
Go ahead.
my initial thing was to one experience it because I never have, so that was my main thing, to just soak it all in, to see and compare what it is to go to a toy show as opposed to a card show.
Mhm,
And right off the bat, like you said, the vibes are different. I think it's almost, you get nostalgia from collecting cards,
mhm,
but at the same time, you're almost like, it's a business like approach when you go into a card show, and you kind of have, all right, this is what I want to do. I got this amount of money. This is, if it's my PC or a particular card that you're looking for, I have these cards I want to trade. And it's like I said, it's almost a business like approach. And once you get the cards home and you're looking at them, then, it kind of brings that nostalgia back at it. But it's a way different vibe when you walk into the toy show. Like Carlos said, it's like boom, bam, bing. You're getting hit all over the place from, multiple types of nostalgia, whether it's He-Man, whether it's, Transformers, or all types of, garbage pail kids. It didn't matter. It was like anything from the 80s that you can imagine, or the 90s, whatever era you grew up in, they had those toys there.
right.
And wherever you looked, it was something dope, something crazy. So again, you walk in there, and the best laid plans, they can be demolished right away, because you can see some stuff that you've never seen in your life. That you bro, I bought some stuff that I was like, dude, what the hell is that? I've never seen anything like that. And Carlos says, oh yeah, I got that one. I got that one. I'm like, of course you do, but I'm gonna buy it anyway because it's dope. um and that's what happened. So my main thing was to go in there and add to my collection and get some stuff that, to me, it's rare, that you don't see every day. So I
Mhm,
bought, a couple things which we'll talk about a little bit later, but there's some specific things that I got. I was like, wow, I got it home, and I showed my daughter, and she just like, boom, mouth dropped, like, what the hell is that? I was like, yeah, yeah, exactly. Because it's just dope, the kind of stuff that I got, and that
mhm,
Carlos, got as well. And that was my main thing, was just trying to add to my collection. I kind of got a base of what I was looking to do, get all the classic characters, and try to get all the stuff, build a solid base. But now it's
mhm.
about adding to it with more rare collectibles.
Right.
No, Carlos, before you answer, just it's funny watching you guys because obviously you're at two different ends of the spectrum with your collections.
Mhm,
Oz is just starting out, and Los is been in it for a while. So like you're like kind of you're like you said, you're doing the building block thing where Los was going in. He has the hit list. It's
Hmm.
yeah.
bang 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 bang.
Yeah.
Where you're kind of just all right. I don't have that, so let me just start curating.
Yeah.
Well,
Things.
to piggyback off of what you just said, Tone, and what the said. You go in there with a plan, right? So I had a list of what I was gonna get or what I was looking for, and that list probably 20 pieces, you know, long. I got one
but
of,
you but
of
you bought way more than that.
exactly of all the stuff I bought. One was on my list.
Wow.
Everything else was just, oh, I'm getting it. Oh, I'm buying that. I'm buying this. I'm buying that. One was on my list, and that was that King Randor old school figure that I never had,
Hmm.
and that I was able to pick up. That's the only thing that was on my list of to check off, and I checked it off. But 19 other things I didn't
Bro,
I
that's
didn't get.
interesting because you bought a ton of shit, and I don't mean to swear, but goddamn, you bought a ton of shit, and it was only one thing on you.
It was only one thing.
Now
That was it.
let me.
You
But
know,
was it because you didn't see the stuff there, or it was just there and you just happened to buy other items?
it was part of not seeing what I had on my list. Well, you saw it. I mean, you really gotta study every booth and see what they got because some things are hidden. I mean, that one Thundercat,
Yeah.
figure that Bunko saw, cousin Bunk saw. I didn't see it. Without him, catching it, I wouldn't have bought it. You know what I mean? So that kind of, it's easy to miss things. Is so stuff could have been on my list that was there, but I didn't catch it because something else caught my eye,
Yeah.
and I got distracted or whatever. But it's easy to go off. Not, I don't want to say off the rails, different tangents
Yeah.
where you're like, you know
And
what?
with you, it's kind of like, okay, you got He-Man, you got G.I.
Right,
Joe, you
right.
got Thundercats, you got, what is it?
Well, that the
Mythic
Mythic
Legions.
Legions. Mythic
you
Legions,
know,
right?
which the Four Horsemen who created that, they had a huge booth in the back. That
Right,
that was the first thing you went to and snagging some
right.
stuff up, and their stuff is awesome.
Hmm.
So you could easily, like you said, you got these different tangents. So and there's all kinds of stuff there. So as you could just easily, okay, you got that 20, but now it's like, oh man, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. And
Exactly.
before you know it, you're copping all this stuff.
Hmm. It's cool and it's a little frustrating, but it's like, you know what? I'm gonna get it at the next one, which tends to domino effect kind of thing. Will give me a reason to go to another
Yeah.
show. It's gonna give me another reason to go to another show because I still haven't found this. I still haven't found that. So the wife may not like it, but to
Hey,
me, that's part of the game.
is what it
Is
is, bro. They
yeah,
gotta accept that. Now, a lot of these things that you had this list for, you can't find it on eBay. Is that, or can you?
I
You're not happy with the price on there.
it's I'm looking to get a better price for it. Yeah, I could buy it on eBay, but sometimes you want that story. I don't know if you guys feel that way with the cards.
Hmm.
That yeah, you could buy something online and go that route, but sometimes there's a story behind you know that card that maybe you want to hear, and now you buying it. Now you're a part of that story. You know, it's kind of like that with some of the action figures and stuff that I try and find that I'd rather find in person than buying it online.
Hmm.
How did I come up to get this figure? Well, I did this, I got here, I saw this, I talked to this guy, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
To me, that's a lot
It
better than
means more.
finding.
And like
It
for
means more.
example, Tony getting his Roberto Clemente rookie card and everything he
Right,
had to do and how many shows he attended and how
right,
many times he looked online. And like you said, you can go ahead and you can get that on eBay because it's there.
right.
And you can go
But
to
then,
any show and you get it. But
but
he
that's where
made it
that
a process.
story. That's
Right.
where that story ends. It ends
Hmm.
with, "Oh, I bought it on eBay."
Yeah.
And Tony can't. He has a whole list of everything that he accomplished or went through to get that he couldn't tell if he bought it on eBay.
Yeah.
Something like, I mean, some people may not agree with it, but I think they may think it's little. I think it's actually,
No, I
pretty
think that
big.
that's dope. You
Yeah,
know.
you
And
know.
with you, Tony, let me ask you. I know you're looking at some of these toys and you're like, and you haven't, dipped your foot into the waters just yet. How tempted are you to start yourself a little collection? I know you had these excuses about you don't have enough room and all that BS, but how tempted were you to at least grab something over there?
A couple times I was close, but it
Mm.
was just like I'm like, I'm not ready. I mean, not that I'm not. I shouldn't say like I'm scared or anything. I was just like, because I know what's gonna happen, and it's just
You
gonna
want to go
go.
down that rabbit
It's
hole?
gonna go. It's gonna go dip the toe in the baby
Yeah.
pool, and then take two steps, and I'm diving in the deep end.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So I was like, let me finish my card thing first
Yeah.
before. But I mean, before we got on the air here, you guys both busted out two what I think are amazing pieces. I'm like, oh geez. So right away I looked it up. I'm like, oh wow, okay, that looks cool. But yeah, I was close. But and I'm sure that the wall will crack at some point. Like I mean, I told you guys, I definitely want to do like a like the hero and the villain of kind of all the toys, as we were coming up,
Yeah.
He-Man, Thundercats, all that stuff. So I will accomplish that at some point, but it's close. It's close.
Mm.
But I did want to ask you guys. So, real life, you guys don't get to spend much time together.
Yeah.
Work, life, kids, all that stuff. Back in the day, you guys were peanut butter and jelly, and pretty much like connected at the hip.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So how was it, man? Going back, like you basically, because you're talking about back in the day, the odds would disappear. He'd come back with the Crimson Twins and all this stuff, and then all this stuff. So this was the first time that you guys got to basically like tag team and like, yo, we're just gonna go. We're gonna. This is it. So how was that for you guys individually and just talk about that?
Well, to me, uh, truthfully, I don't remember seeing him a lot
Mhm.
at the show because he take off that way and he's chasing somebody or
Hey,
chasing
hey, hey, hey.
another. He's chasing something in another booth. We'll leave it at that.
Hey,
Right?
now I keep it real. Listen, there was cosplay going on.
Yeah, there was.
And anybody knows the Oz knows I'm a fan of cosplay, whether it be male or
Oh,
female. What I mean?
yeah,
I get a kick out of that when people get so excited and they dress up like their favorite characters. I think that's the dopest. Like your daughter on
yeah,
Sunday came dressed up.
yeah,
If my daughter was there, she would have been dressed up like 11. And like to me, I think that's super dope. You would never see anything like that somewhere else. So when you go in there and you get into that type of environment, you just see these different characters. So I'd see somebody in the corner of my eye, like, yo, I'll be right back. That
yeah,
that looks kind of interesting.
yeah.
We'll leave it at
Yeah.
that. But
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It was so I would turn around and I'm like, damn, where the hell did Gotti go?
I'm trying to soak it all in.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate you should soak it all in. I mean, hopefully next year we'll be able to spend more time together.
And then I had my brother there as well
Right,
so he
right,
was just
right,
calling me over. He's like, yo, where you at? So it's
right.
kind of being pulled in two different directions. But for me though, even though I wasn't there, it was just a joy to see you wheel and deal. You know what I mean?
Okay,
To finally see Los get to these dealers because you have the knowledge when it comes. Like I'm kind of like a fish out of water when it comes to the
right.
toys just yet, but you've been
Mhm.
there, done that, and you know a lot of these dealers. You know who's willing to work, who's not. So you were able to go ahead and just rock it out with these people and lay down the knowledge and be like, look, I know what that's worth. I know how much you paid for it. I'll give you this.
Right. Well, I when we was off the air before you got on, I was telling Tony about these GI Joe statues. Here, I'll bring one up. You know these
Oh,
these
nice.
these statues right here.
So
So
explain
there
that.
were,
Who is that? And
well, this is Storm Shadow, your friendly neighborhood ninja for
yes.
Cobra. All right. And I mean, it doesn't move. It's just a 7-inch statue. To me, is badass.
So he is the nemesis of Snake Eyes. Am I correct?
That is correct. Yes,
So Snake Eyes is in black, which is funny
they
because
are
Snake Eyes
brothers
is
of the
the good.
sword.
Yeah, he's the good
Yeah.
guy,
Right.
and he's dressed in black, and then Storm Shadow's in white, which is kind of
Right.
a conflicting when it comes to
But that's the yin and the yang, though.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, so I saw these in a booth, and um, it was actually the booth that you got the merman.
Okay.
Okay, so they were sitting on the side, and while you're doing your deal for the merman, I see it at the corner of my eye, and Tone was like, he goes, dude, that Storm Shadow, he's badass, blah blah blah, and I was like, yeah, I said, yeah. So the guy had it for, excuse me, $30 a pop, and there were six of them. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna come back tomorrow and get them all. Well, here the dude must have not, he wasn't there, so he was only there for the Saturday show.
Mm.
Uh, but I saw these figures in somebody else's booth. So they did the old I'm gonna buy it and then sell it, which is fine. But in my mind, I already knew how much they were at the other booth.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew this, or I had that gut feeling that this guy paid far less than the $30 that was on the table the night before. So I go up to him and I ask him what he wanted, and he tells me, and I'm like, I know how much these were for, and you probably got them for far less. So he was trying to sell them for, he was trying to get 180, which is what they would have been in the first place, the $30. Six
Mm-hmm.
guys, $30. But I know he didn't pay that. That's my whole thing. So I was like, okay, I was gonna pay that yesterday, or I wasn't gonna pay that yesterday. I sure as hell ain't gonna pay that on the Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him, he goes, oh, well, what are you thinking? I said 120. I said 120, that's it. That's as far as I'm gonna go, blah, blah, blah. And the guy's sitting there, you know, thinking about it, thinking about it. He was like, all right, all right. And I kept on going, oh, it's gonna go to a good home. It's gonna go to a good home.
I love that.
Sometimes,
Before you go,
sometimes
I
that
love
works.
that. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that works with a lot. Don't worry,
It
it's going
works.
to a good home. I'm
It's
gonna
gonna
flip
go to
it
a good
tomorrow.
home. Yeah. Well, because listen, that dude took it and didn't take it to a good home. He was gonna flip it, right?
Right.
Sometimes that bothers sellers and stuff like that, and And I mean, if the guy was there on Sunday, the original seller was there Sunday, he probably would have been pissed off that this dude
Hmm.
bought him and is flipping him, even though he got his money.
Right.
It's just that principle kind of thing. You know what I mean? The etiquette.
Hmm.
And you guys, I'm sure you guys in the card game definitely know that etiquette game.
Oh.
So it's did. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna screw you a little bit here, and this is I'm gonna make out, and you'll probably get your money back, or maybe you won't. Not my problem, but I'm gonna take them, and they're gonna be in a good spot. They're not gonna get resold, so you know.
So
But
you were able to make that purchase. Now, I kind of found, and we can get into the deal, which on Sunday where I hooked you up with some loot to try to get me some stuff.
right, right,
But I feel like these dealers at the toy shows are less willing to come off of their price, their sticker
mhm,
price. They'll work a deal, but it's not going to be something, that you're going to be say, "Oh, wow, that was a great deal."
right, right.
It'll be, say it's $100. Yeah, we can do 95. It'd be
Mhm.
like a five, and you're like, "Okay, thanks for the deal."
Well, that's and where you use that word, that phrase, due diligence, right?
Hmm.
So the prices of these figures tend to be in the where they're priced at is tends to be where these guys kind of got paid for them. So
Hmm.
they're not marking them up crazy.
Right.
So I tend to not go. I tend to offer something that I know they're going to make money off of from the get go. You know what I mean? So if it's something's 375, I'll be like, all right, I'll give you 350. I know the dude probably bought it for 300, so he's still going to make $50 on it. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? I don't want to go, okay, I'll give you 290 for it. He's going to say no right away. It's that little. You got to know what this stuff is going for, and then you can know what to offer people without insulting them. You
Hmm.
know, so that's the little. I'm not perfect at it. Obviously, I'll walk away from stuff like that guy
Hmm.
with the scarecrow. He didn't want to play ball, so I was like, all right, dude, you're lost, man. You could have made
Yeah,
some
so I,
money on
I
it.
wasn't able to. I was called into work on Sunday, so I had the weekend pass, and I
Mhm.
was gonna go with Carlos on Sunday as well. Wasn't able to, and I wasn't quite finished purchasing stuff yet. I had a little bit of money in my pocket, and I figured, yo, Los, text them early in the morning. I said,
Mhm.
if I sent you some money, some PayPal, whatever, and you had that money in hand, I remember seeing the one figure, like you said, the Scare Glow,
Yeah.
which the guy he had for 500, right?
Right.
So he had it for 500. We had looked it up on eBay, saw it for 400 on eBay.
Right.
So I told Carlos, I said, bro, it's on eBay for 400 and it's OBO or best offer. So I could probably get it
Mhm.
for less than that. I said, I'm going to send you 400. Tell the guy, bang, 400 cash right now for the Scare Glow.
Right.
And let me know what he says. And I'll let you finish the story.
Well, he did what I told him he was going to do, and I explained to Tony before the show even started that there was a question of is there people who are quote unquote pardon the language, but dicks to work with.
Hmm.
So and this guy popped up into my head right away. He's there every year in the same spot, and he does the same thing. He's like, oh, any questions? Any questions? Let me know. Well, when you ask a question, he goes right away to eBay to see what eBay prices are. That's a frustrating and a so it's a bad way to do stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. You should know where you're at, what you could do without going to eBay for where your price is going to be.
Hmm.
So when that day on Sunday when I went to go inquire about the Scareglow, and he said 450 right off the bat,
Hmm.
right? So he's dropping 50. The lowest I can go is 450. So I said, well, the highest I could go is 400. I said that I'm giving right here right now. I got 400. And he grabs his phone and I said, before you even look on eBay, because I said, I know that's where you're going. I said, there's one already there. First one that pops up, it's $400 or best offer. I said, that dude's ceiling is $400. He'll take less. So I said, I'm offering you four. And he's thinking about it. And then when I started asking him like what other forms of payment does he take besides cash? Oh, I really need to get 450. So I said, all right, cool. I'm done here. I said, I guarantee you that thing will be here by the end of the show. And it, I mean, I didn't state it on the show, but I'm gonna stick with my gut and I'm gonna say that that thing was still there at the end of the
Hmm.
show. You know, and I wouldn't be totally surprised if next year he has that in his booth again. You know,
For 500.
for 500 exactly, or 510, or he'll, you know what I mean. And it's like, so that things like that, it's they're a pain when you got to deal with people like that.
Hmm.
But the second guy that I purchased your commemorative
Mm.
5 pack, dude couldn't have been any better. Like he dropped the price right as soon as I got there. He's looking at it, he goes, I'll do 340. I was like, I said, what about 325? He was like, yeah, screw it, I'll do 320 or whatever we paid for it. I don't
Hmm.
remember. But um but he was like, he was working with it, and he was like, he knew how to play the game, and he knew how to do where he or make it that he was going to still make money, get the deal done, but still make money on it. Where that other guy was just,
And that's the point. And I'm always thinking too with toy collectors. Do you think they have more of attachment to these things, and they're
yes,
more willing to be stubborn because they
absolutely,
they absolutely love that toy? Especially something like that, a big purchase. So it's a 500. In his mind,
right.
it's worth $500. He can get for 450 for it. So an item like that, where there's a little bit more of an investment, and it's a dope ass toy. It.
What? Well, there's two, I guess, uh, uh, what do they call that? Two schools of thought on that kind of thing. Um, if those guys are there selling,
Hmm.
they're pretty much that personal attachment to what they're selling isn't there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's gone. That's their business. That's what they're doing. They're vendors. Um, so that the personal thing doesn't really come
Now,
into
but
the.
for example, though, before you go on your next thought, you can get a table there, right? For
Yeah.
what? How much?
Uh, I think we asked the one, me and cousin Punks asked the one guy. He said 130 a table.
Because Tony and I can go get a table at any, the Philly show or the Fishtown Card Show. We can just go ahead. So I'm not necessarily a vendor, but
Right.
that could be, I'm taking my PC. So there's certain items that I know. Listen, if you're gonna knock my socks off, I'm gonna purposely price this higher because I really don't want to sell it.
I got you.
But if you go ahead and match that, then it's on.
Yeah.
you know and I think a lot of times too with the toy collectors, at one point in time, yeah, you may be a vendor, but things like that, the special stuff, it's
Mhm.
not like the regular, here's a $30 figure, $40 figure. You're talking $500, half a thousand
Right.
dollars on a
Right.
figure. I want my money on it. I'm more than happy taking this back to my crib and putting it right up on the shelf.
But with that figure, that scare glow, he's making money off of $400.
Hmm. Right.
He's making money off of that. He only
Exactly.
paid, because when that came out, he only paid $160.
Right.
That's how much they were
Right.
when they first came out, was $160, or even maybe even less. I'm not
Right.
sure, but I think it's $160. So he's making good money getting 400 for
He's making more than double, but
it.
he wanted
He
more.
he wanted more, and what you call somebody's bluff. Either they do it or they don't. But me, you know what I mean? Like if you would have said, "Yo, I'll give you 500 to go get that," I still would have been trying to get it for 400. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
he
Because
let
he told me
he let
450.
$50 he
Yeah.
let $50
But
stand
yeah,
in the way.
right,
when I left there, I
right,
said, "How much?" He's like, "I take it down to 450." So I figured it's Sunday, it's still there.
right.
I'll do 400, bro. Cash. Let's get it. And
And
nope.
he was nope. He was sticking to and he almost went for it. Then they started thinking and thinking, I can still get it, dude. Then good luck with you, and that's on you. Somewhere down the road, you'll get that scare glow, and you'll get it for the price that you, probably even less than the 400. So it's that you got to look for that. What do you got? Like the long game,
Hmm.
instead of looking at it the little window. You know what I mean? Play
Hmm.
the long game, and you'll end up getting it. And that's how most of this stuff, the higher end things, was playing the long game.
Hmm.
Where somebody was who got out of it. That's the other thing. You take advantage of someone who's done with collecting and they don't want to do it anymore. They tend to let things go at a cheaper price, and you take advantage of that. So like when you guys were there, what because you did both shows, you went to
Hmm.
both sides. Like, what did you see on one side versus the other? What was different? What was the same? You know what I mean? What were your
Well,
thoughts on?
for me, both sides of the table. You see obviously the passionate collectors. Whoever's there is there because they love this stuff.
Mhm.
You didn't see anybody who was kind of like not all in. I mean, the toy people were all in on the toys, and the card people were all in on the cards. But that big difference for me was the vendors,
Mhm.
because and again, I mean, it's limited experience, but okay, you had that one guy who is the $50 guy. That guy was the extreme. There was another guy who, oh, Funko Pops. You know, Oz walks in, picks up two of them. The best the guy can do is $5 off. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm in it with a card mindset, because a couple times I went with you, Carlos, to a booth,
Mhm.
and whatever the sticker price was, I'm already like, all right, it's 30% off of that. That's where we're starting to
Right.
offer.
Right.
And you're
Right.
looking at me like, I'm like, nah, bro, we don't pay sticker price. Like, it ain't happening. So, and I was like, this is, I came in with a card mindset. I'm like, this is just what we do, bro. I don't, I
Mhm.
mean, I don't, we're not even, I'm not knocking five. My first offer is not $5 off of what you have on that
Right.
sticker off the
Right.
bat. But then, guys like $5. I'm like, okay, and then we go to another booth, and it was the same thing where you picked up, I forget what it was. It was a father and son type deal. And again, you know, the sticker was this. I'm like, Los, I'd go with this. And then the guy's like, I can do $10 off. Like, what the hell? It's like,
Yeah.
what are coupons here? Or what is this? So that was to me, was a little foreign. So I gotta, when the time comes, I'll have to prepare myself to find some rigid vendors, if
Well,
you will.
well, there's like there was one vendor that when Bonks bought that radio, that
Mhm.
Hmm.
transforming radio, like the dude he was like, I see it in your face, man. He goes, this is history for you. This is nostalgia for you. This is a memory. He goes, you know what? He goes, I wasn't gonna sell it. He goes, I just had it here because I had it as a kid. I thought it was cool. He goes, but he goes, I just wanted people to come in and buy my other stuff. He was like, but he goes, give me. He goes, and Boko was like, well, what's your price? What's your price? He said, $40. And Boko was like, bet I'll take it. You know, because of the story behind it. And the guy was like, he goes, I'd rather give this stuff away. I said, you're gonna give it away? He was like, well, no, 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 I don't want to do that. I said, well, don't say things you don't mean.
Not
Because
around me.
yeah, because I'll take all this and flip this. You know what I mean? Because I don't really want it, but I'll flip it. So there's things like that. I mean, and then you got all the spectrums. You got the guys who won't deal. You got the guys who are freaking liars, and you gotta weave your way through
Yeah.
and decipher who's what, who do you want to work with, you're gonna go back to. You know, remember the guy with the shockwave in
Hmm.
the package?
Hmm.
That dude, I've talked to him for the last 3-4 years. We don't know each other's name. We just talk, and it's like we know each other and stuff like that. I think the dude's a cool cat, and he
Hmm.
sells good stuff, and I've bought things from him, and he's hooked me up with prices. It's you build that little relationship,
Hmm.
and I mean, I'm sure you guys, there's guys in vendors in the card game that you guys continually go back to. Would I assume, right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that deal is kind of the same, where you know this guy's going to give you what you want, and it's just that you're just trying to find that deal, within reason, kind of thing. There's other people you're like, I don't even stop at that. I don't know if you guys know it. There's booths that I didn't even stop at. I didn't even looked at what they had, because I remember the guy kind of from before, and I'm like, they're not somebody I want to work with, kind of thing. You know, but that's
Yeah.
part of the fun. That's
Hmm.
part of the fun.
Oz.
I think the main thing for me was the vibe, bro. It was just
Okay.
and getting back, I already had described it earlier, was the whole business-like approach with the cards,
Mhm.
and where when you walked into the toy show, it was like being a kid again. You know, and
Yeah.
because there's a lot of a flipping mentality when you get into the other section. You're either looking for something for your PC or you're trying to get the best deal for something that you can go ahead and flip and again trying to work to get something for your PC.
Right.
And that whole business like attitude, which is cool. But then when you go into the next room right over, a couple feet over, it was just a whole different vibe. People
Mhm.
dressing up, people getting into their favorite characters, people smiling, people, we talk about when we had our last interview with Jeremy and we asked him, does the hobby take itself too seriously?
Mhm.
It was like night and day, bro, when you compare the vibes in the two
Well,
shows. You know, the people that are there, they love their cards, and the people that are there, they love their toys. But the way they go about it was, like I said, night and day. When it,
well,
that
to jump on that,
Mhm.
when me and Punks walked into the card show, the first thing I noticed was the AC was on. You couldn't tell it was on at the RetroCon.
Mhm.
It probably was, but because of everybody talking, everybody being excited, everybody jumping around, people moving, all this kind of stuff, it was hot. It was hot. We go over to the car show. Not that it was dead. Not that it was empty. It was just the energy was like straight up. Like
Subdued.
you said, the business aspect. Everything was straight and straight and arrow, straight like an arrow kind of thing. And but it was the AC, as small as that is. The AC got my attention. I even told Poke, I said, "Damn, bro, it's freaking cool as hell in here." I said, my God, I said we were sweating over there, and it's nice and airy over here. And he goes, I know. And the rug, there was a rug,
Yeah,
killed me.
yeah, there was yeah, we don't mess with hard floors over here in the card game, man. We got to protect our feet.
See, now,
Uh,
now here's an interesting. Now you bring
Go ahead.
the guy that was selling uh the wrestling figures, the certain memorabilia and stuff like that. Would he have made a killing at retro, or you think he made a killing at the card side on the card
Yeah,
show?
it's fun. There was one guy where Oz
He was
picked
in
up.
the back. He was in
Yeah,
the back. Yeah.
well, there was a guy that Oz picked up bunch of Funkos,
Mm.
which Oz I think now is the worldwide leader of Stranger Things
Stranger Things
Funkos.
Funko.
So whoever's number one,
Yeah.
Oz is coming. So
If you're missing something, hit him up.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But and I actually said that to the guy. He asked me, he said, "Hey, how is it next door?" I said, "We just, he noticed we had the lanyards."
Yeah.
I said, "Dude, it's jumping over there." And to be honest, like the card show looked less filled, but it was in a bigger area. So
It
that's
was
one thing.
bigger.
So
Yes. Yes.
so, but he's like, "Yeah, I've set up over there the last couple years," and
Oh, okay. Okay.
so he goes, but I kind of, rolled the dice and came over here this time. He goes, I
Mhm.
kind of wish I would have gone to the back to the other side because Funko Pops is cool, but the market, the guys who are buying Funko Pops, not a lot of
Around
them are in the
right. They were
cards.
on, they were in the they
But
were on the other side.
yeah,
They were on the other
yeah,
side. Okay.
yeah. So I
All
mean,
right.
if I'm a Funko dealer or anything like that, knowing that the toy show was next door, I would have, and vice versa. I saw someone set up at the toy show with a Pokemon, selling Pokemon cards. They were getting passed by.
Mm.
Know
And
your
and they
market.
would and they would right know your market
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, know your market. Yeah, no, there was nobody buying cards. I actually a couple times I saw cards laying about in the show, and I damn well stopped and looked through them because you never know.
Mhm.
But I didn't see anything. But yeah, I specifically remember those Pokemon dealers at the toy show that they were just chilling, basically.
Yeah.
Because it is what it
It's I
is.
mean they like you said, it was a crapshoot, and they may have chose the wrong one this time around. You know,
Mhm.
and that happens. What are you going
Yeah,
to do?
it's all right. Now you have a question for us concerning a card and a mark.
Yes. Okay. So we go to that one booth, and they have the Roberto Clemente 3D card, which is a phenomenal looking card. I was like, wow, I never seen nothing like that before. Um, and there was two of them right next to each other. One for 50 grand, one for 100 grand. Which blew my mind and was like, wow, this is this is unreal. But so I asked the young woman behind the counter, you know, why why is there such a big difference here? She tells me there's a dot on the backside of the $50,000 card that's not there on the $100,000 card. So naturally, my inner instincts, my Southside Reading voice, 50 grand for a dot. And that's like exactly. She was like, "Yeah." I said, "You gotta be freaking kidding me! 50 grand for a dot." Explain to me, guys. Explain to me why that is such a big discrepancy as far as that 50 grand.
Well, it could be a lot of things. Obviously, like pop counts too. Like so, I think one was a 9 and one was an 8, or one was an 8, one was a 7, something like that.
Okay.
Um, so what happens sometimes? Yeah, that dot knocks it down a grade, and then that grade, then the values get based off of that and how many in the population and things like that. So yeah, it's wild to think because when you're next door and He Man's little pinky toe is missing, it's
Right.
not really a big deal. Obviously, if it's a mint on card, but if you're just talking about loose figures, it's not a big deal. Here, a ding corner could be obviously thousands, hundreds of thousands of
Right.
dollars.
Right.
So when you come in from the toy side, you're like, what the heck is going on? But yeah, man, that's
You're talking, you're trying to wiggle down $5 or $10 on the price, and over here it's $50,000. Like it's insane. And
So
she's like, "Look,
so
everything is exactly the same. This card is the same as this card.
yes,
Centering's exactly the same. The front of the card, the surface, but on the back there's a dot."
there's a dot.
And I'm just like, "Wow,
Yeah.
50K on the back of the card."
On the and then it's like and like I said, 50 grand for a dot. That's crazy. That's insane to me. She's like, she's going, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
it is, but that's what it is. And it's like,
Yep.
okay, you know,
And speaking of that, 100 grand, 50 grand, I
Mhm.
showed you a couple other ones that were pretty insane. you know, Box prices for national treasures that only contain a couple cards, and you got
that tripped me out too.
yeah,
That tripped me out too. Where that you pay that whatever it is for that box, and you don't know what you're getting until you open it. It may be a home run, it may be a bunt. You don't know that, but you're spending that loot. You know what I mean? And hopefully you get that back like it was the Josh Allen.
yes.
You guys
Mhm.
telling me the whole story. We're talking to that gentleman, and you know, eh, you can, and I forget how much he had it for. Do you guys remember?
The Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah,
Was
it's
it
like
like
40. Was it 40? Was it
at
40
least let's
cents?
just say 50K.
We'll say 50K. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, yeah, that's you pay 4 grand and you get a $50,000 card. That's pretty. That's freaking awesome. That's all you can expect or hope for.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
That's a
but it could
whole
easily be a Carson Wentz, RPA.
right,
yeah, that's a
And
whole
at
lot of
first,
orcos.
there's a whole lot of oracles. Yeah, it is. You could have bought a bunch of scareglows for that, man.
but it's insane. And talking about that, let's talk about how much easier it is to curate a toy collection, a high-end toy collection, with way less money than you're trying
Right.
to say, Tony trying to get the whole run of the Clemente. How much money he's going to have to put into that? I mean, his one card alone, which is the rookie card. What's the value on that now, Tony?
It's like around 6K.
All right, so
Okay.
you got 6K. So you could take that's for one card, and he's trying to do the whole run. That's his rookie card. So for that 6K, what can you do with toys?
Like my God, bro, you think of every San Diego Comic Con exclusive for the last 3 or 4 years. Those are getting picked up easily.
Hmm.
You know, I, probably could go buy somebody's collection from their house. You know what I mean? And do something like that was, dude, with 6 grand, I'd have the time of my life.
You can get that Wonder Bread He-Man, bro.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
or the Eternia that was in the box.
Yes.
You know,
it's funny that you say that because I remember saying that. I'm like, we're walking through the toy show and I'm like, um, I said, Carlos is like this Wonder Bread He-Man. This is like a high end figure, and it's up on the thing and it's graded, and I don't know. Let's just say it had like a $5,000 price tag on it,
right?
and I just remember thinking, I'm like, well, that's a high end thing, and I said it's almost the same value as my card, and my card seemed like my Roberto. It's like a run of the mill card, like it's not
Mhm.
just middle pack. Like I'm like, man, I'm like, am I in the wrong thing here or what?
Yeah,
Because I'm like, man, you could be king on one
but
side
there's
of the hallway, and the other side you're
right,
just a pauper.
but there's other figures like that Wonder Bread He Man. Uh, yeah, five grand. That's a lot of loot, but that's certainly not the highest
Sure.
figure that I've seen at a show. Not this one, not at RetroCon, but I've been to other ones where I've seen, and I don't know if I probably told you guys about what are they called? Top Toys out of Argentina.
Yeah.
They're the regular the same quality as Mattel, they got the license, all that good stuff. Their He Man, if it's in the package, is like close to 20 grand, and so there's higher end out there, but
Hmm.
they're mostly international.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And finding them is tough, real tough. But that's part of the keep the game where you're going. You know what? I got to see one. I got to see one. I got
Yeah.
to see if I can
It's the
get one.
scarcity, the rarity. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's it's not artificially inflated. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. But like I
Yeah.
said, the main difference between because again, we're looking at a rookie Josh Allen who hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. His national treasures RPA, which I don't even remember if it was 50K. It might be 150K, whatever they were asking for it. But that's like 3-4 times the amount of something like that that
Mhm.
was through Top Toys created in Argentina, which is
Right.
rare and crazy. And like to somebody spend $20,000 on a figure, it'll be like, holy crap, that's insane. And these dudes are over here. That's not even a top tier card,
Mhm.
$20,000. That's right at the top of the mid range. But we're talking 50, 100, 500,000. Then you talk about the $1 million cards. One just sold for 12.5 million. So then it gets insane.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys this. During the Jet Junk Wax era,
Hmm.
okay, I'm testing your knowledge here. What was how high was the ceiling for prices in cards during that era?
The
I'm not
junk
talking about
wax
the junk.
era
I'm
at
not
that
talking about the
time.
junks. Yeah, I'm talking about that time, 90 to 94. Like, where was the like right now? We're look. I saw a card for $100,000. Was
Hmm.
that happening in 90 94?
There was certain I know, like maybe the Honus Wagner was at prices like that. Yeah, the Mickey Mantles
Mhm.
were more so the vintage and the scare stuff,
Okay.
like the stuff that was coming out. I know they you're saying like the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, is that because everybody's taking advantage of what's going on and they're
Because
just
bro, it was
inflicting.
like that whole, once the 86 Fleer that didn't really even take off till later on. So once the 90s hit, you had Shaquille come in.
But
When
why?
Shaquille,
Why?
why
Why
did it
didn't
take
the
off?
Why didn't it take off at that time? Just like that Josh Allen card was big
Mhm.
is big now.
Because what happened is everybody and their mom started collecting. So the
Okay.
card companies got greedy and just kept producing and producing. They
Spitting them
knew,
out, spitting
yeah.
them out.
So that Shaquille O'Neal rookie card, the upper deck, there's
Yeah.
two of them, but the upper deck one, which everybody says is his main one, other than the more rare kind. But that specific one, dude, is produced in the millions. So but there's
We're talking
only
about we're talking about that trade one.
yes, there's
Okay.
two of them. There's a trade
Okay.
one and then there's the number one pick.
Okay.
So one was pack pooled, and then the other one was a redemption card. So you would send the redemption card one in,
Right.
and
Right.
they would give you that one. So you had the two of those, but they were produced out the ass. So it didn't matter as far as you can only charge a certain amount. So at that point in time, it might have gotten say up to like $500 or something like that.
Okay.
And nowadays, since it's in the 90s, you can get it graded, and if you got a 10, the price had fluctuated. It had gone up to like 12,000. Now it's back down. It drops. But something like that, since it was so highly produced, you're just not going to get those values. So the
Mhm.
90s, like I said, the card companies just got outrageous with it, and that's of course why they called it the junk wax, because everybody
Yeah.
and their mom, we thought we were cool with those Jordans and buying those locker series.
Right.
Everybody
Right.
was getting them, and bro, I
Yeah.
got the Jordan, I got this Jordan, I got that Jordan. Bro, nobody even had a clue about PMGs, precious metal gems. There's people out there that went to hobby shops and that had money, and they were in the know. Us,
Mhm.
we had I never heard of a PMG till literally, 2021, when I started
Right.
listening to a podcast. I'm like, what the hell's a PMG? And they're
Dude,
talking about it like, oh yeah,
I, th-
precious metal gems, pretty
I
cool.
thought the holograms were the were
Yeah,
the were
bro, those were
the
mine.
yeah, you know what I
My
mean?
holograms were my PMGs, the 3D. I'm like, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at how dope that is.
I'm like, this Jordan one says MVP on it. It get no better than that, you know. But I
Yes,
guess I was wrong.
apparently you can. Apparently you
Yeah.
can get a green one that there's only 10 ever created. And I think one of them supposedly got ripped up in Hawaii or some crap. So that makes it down to 9.
Jeez.
And
Jeez.
those are over $1 million, or probably that might be, if you get a high graded PMG of a Michael Jordan green, not the current ones that we're talking about. We're talking about the original from 90, 97.
Well, I gotta say something. Let me switch. Go off on a little tangent here. One of the highlights of this weekend was not only being with you guys and all that good stuff, because it was awesome, but actually meeting a dude meeting Danny Torres, that you guys are big fans of. You guys think very highly of him, and I'll tell you what, that dude is genuine. I
Mhm.
got the vibe. I mean, I got a vibe right off that me and him could freaking hang out
Oh, bro.
and just cool out and stuff. I That was a highlight, because I was like, you know what, I met somebody cool. You know what I mean? And thank you guys for doing that. That was cool.
Yeah,
But yeah,
thanks for Danny, because he doesn't normally come out to these things every once in a while. Like, he
yeah,
was supposed to make it to the national and he wasn't able to.
okay,
So for him to say, "Yo, I'm gonna be at the card show. You guys gonna be there?" Hell yeah, hell yeah. And him and my brother, they get along very well. They both have the same name, Danny
right,
Torres.
right,
So that's always a funny thing, and he loves that. But dude, this guy, he's unbelievable, because the same way he kicks it with me and you and my brother, he can go into the stadium and kick it with, an athlete,
yeah.
and
And you
they're
know
like,
what? That's an art, bro. That
yes,
there's an art to that. Not everybody got that in them.
nah, nah,
That
nah.
dude
This
has
dude
it.
is on another level, bro. He's
Yeah,
special.
yeah,
He's a special
yeah,
cat.
Yeah,
yeah. It
for
was
sure.
awesome. It was awesome meeting him, man. That was pretty cool.
For sure.
Appreciate that.
So,
Yeah.
last topic, and we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Because the Los is ready to expire. It's late at night. The Los is thank you, Los, for staying up with us tonight.
I'll do anything for your fans, bro.
Uh,
But so hey, let's talk about how easy or just how fun it is to get your kids and spouses involved
Yeah.
in the toy collecting, and then we can talk about a little something after that. There's a
Okay.
mirage,
Yeah.
but besides that, I mean, Lowe's, talk about it. I mean, you have your daughter. She was, dressed up and stuff like that.
Sh-
So
she looks forward to that Sunday, because like she gives me Saturday. She's like, Dad, that's your day, your goal. You're gonna go here. You're working your deals and all that kind of stuff. So she likes going on Sunday, and she's always like, all right, this is what I'm going to dress up as. Like she did 11 one year. She did what was another one? I can't remember it. But so this year she was one of her favorite animes, the Spy X Family. I forget what the girl's name is, but she went all out, and she looked good,
mhm.
and she had fun with it, and people are walking around going, "Oh, I love your costume, I love your costume," and she loves when they do that. You got people coming up to go, "Oh, I love the character you are," and all that kind of stuff. So she has a good time, and then meanwhile she's looking for her specific things. Now she doesn't just buy anything; they have to be what she's into. And right now she's into anime. So uh, the one thing about the show is there's not too much. or too many vendors selling anime stuff. So it is difficult for her to find what she wants. Uh, and I tried to look on Saturday, and there's no way I even know who the hell these people are. You know what I mean? Because all the names sound the same, and every looks the same. So, but she has. We just bought her shelves for her room, and boom, she put them. She has all her figures and all her little statues and her little plush dolls and all that kind of stuff. And she went and bought a, a pop of Attack on Titan, and, you know, what I mean, and all that kind. That's what she's into. So she has her little collection, and she puts it there. And you know, her old when she was younger, all her old toys, they're in plastic bins in the garage. She has no interest in those. Those are meaningless to her. She's like, "Oh, Dad, throw them away." That kills me. You know how much we spent on that. You know, at least let me break even, or get something out of it.
Or
But
just wait 20 years and then
yeah, right. Well, that's what I said to her. I said, you know what? If I get rid of them, I said, you're gonna come back when you have a child,
yeah.
and you're gonna be like, oh, my dad kept my toys, or I hope he kept them,
Yeah.
and you're gonna want to come back
Oh
and
man,
see
I
what
used
you
to
got.
have that. I used to have that. I wonder if my
Yeah,
dad yeah.
yeah. So that's, but she has her little collection there, and she jumps on the bandwagon with her mom talking about all this, and Dad, you're a loser, and you know, grow grow up, you're a grown ass man, and all that kind of crap.
Right.
But to that point, like Tone, you said about the Mirage, right?
Right.
The Mirage is, my wife trashes this, right? This is all a waste of money. You're killing our bank account, all that good stuff. In her office, she has stuff hanging, her Walking Dead, her uh, Game of Thrones figures, or she has some pops and stuff like that, and she won't admit it at all, but she collects. And like we talked about this before, there's everybody collects something, and they may go, oh, the action figures are stupid, this and that. But if you look, you may have a whole collection of Funko Pops. Yeah, they're in a box and they're not doing anything, but guess what? Those are action figures. Those aren't candy little things, or a statue. No, those are action figures. That's what you bought. You may not have realized it, but that's what you bought. So the reality kind of scares them a little bit. You know
Yeah,
what I
speaking of
mean?
which, I mean, Tony did purchase some toys. You did
Yeah, he
purchase
did.
some
Yeah, he
Funkos.
did.
I
Yes, he
did.
did.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to talk about that. Yeah. So, um, I purchased them. They weren't for me. They were for my wife, who also lives in this Mirage that she does
Yes.
not collect, and she's finally starting to admit it a little bit. But yeah, so I bought three Funko Pops to Home Alone, Kevin and the two, Marv and Harry. And so I bought them because she doesn't collect them, but somehow she keeps accumulating more.
Right.
But she uses under the guise that she uses them to decorate for each holiday. So like right now, she has
So
the
those are
Beetle.
her Christmas pops.
Correct. Yeah, like right
Okay.
now,
Okay.
we're heading into
Right, right.
Halloween, so she has the Beetlejuice stuff out,
Mhm.
which is part of this
Didn't you buy?
non-collection.
Did you buy a bunch of Beetlejuice stuff too?
No, the only thing I bought
Okay.
this past weekend was the
Okay.
Home Alone stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, so and I was
What
like
was
a
the
good
one
little
that you refused to buy because it was too expensive, or you thought it was too expensive?
me
Yeah.
was a Ghostbuster. It was 50
Uh,
bucks for a Ghostbuster. I was like, get out of here. Yeah.
And how
So
much are they? How much are they at the store? I'm not. I've
I
rarely.
have
I
I
eight
have
Bro,
no
when
bucks.
they
idea.
first come out, they're like 25, 20, 25 bucks. And then
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
And it depends on what you do too. But if you pre-order them, they might even be cheaper. But if you go to the stores, they usually have them for like 20 bucks. And then the bigger
Okay. What
ones
did
are
I?
like,
What did I think they were like 7.99 or something? Is
I
that like?
know that might be the little
Oh, okay.
Which,
Jeez.
by the way, so Oz, you we'll close out with this. You've definitely created a monster,
hmm
because as we went out to lunch, and you get a phone call from little Miss People's mailman,
Yeah.
um And talk about that. And because I mean, she's all in now. So you want to talk about ease or fun? This is it.
She's a trip, bro. She's a little mini me.
Mhm.
Um, every day she just called it. It was just funny because we were all in the car together, and I
Mhm.
had the Bluetooth on, and you can hear her with her little, you know,
A little,
small
a little
voice,
squeaky voice. Yeah, yeah,
your
yeah.
little squeaky voice, talking about the mini Funkos and other things that she wants to get, and to me, it's just awesome. I love it. I love it, and she's excited because this is her birthday is on Saturday,
Nice.
and we're actually going to an escape room, Stranger Things themed escape room.
Oh, cool.
Instead of
Whereabouts that?
Hawkins, it's actually Dawkins is the
Where's
name
that
of the
at?
city. It's near King of Prussia.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah, so we're doing that, and her best friend are gonna get dressed up. She's gonna be 11,
Mhm.
and her best friend's gonna be Angela, the girl that gets knocked in the head with the skate, which I don't know if you've seen, but she's a bully, so she
Okay.
deserved to get hit with a
Okay.
skate to the forehead and bleed all over the place. But that's neither here nor there.
All right.
No
Spoiler
no
alert, bro.
spoilers here on the Cousins
I
Collectibles
haven't
podcast.
watched it. Jeez. You know?
Yeah, that's the best part, bro.
Give a brother a
Just
chance.
just if you don't want to watch it, just watch that scene of 11 at the skating rink getting bullied, and you're
Okay.
gonna be like, "Oh shit," because that's crazy. That's crazy. But I digress. So, but
Right.
either way, so my daughter's birthday is this weekend. I got her a ton of stuff. Like I bought more stuff for her at this thing than I did for myself. I was kind of,
Good.
more so looking for all Stranger Things. And I bought her that one picture that was, painted by the one guy for Stranger Things, had 11 and all the different characters. And we went this past 2 days ago to get her a frame. So she's able
Okay.
to hang it up on the wall. So she's proud of that. Like you said, I've developed a monster and I'm loving
Mm.
every minute of it. My wife, on the other hand, she's like, she's 10 years old. She's going to be 11. And you got her into all this crazy shit, people bleeding and going up in the air, eyes are bleeding and bones cracking. I don't like this shit. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
she's me. I'm her. That's me, baby. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's a package deal.
We was watching Freddy Krueger at 10
Yeah,
and 11 years old.
exactly.
So
I was watching The
yeah.
Exorcist at like 6 years old. My
Right.
mom made me watch that, and I still to this day shit in my pants thinking about that freaking her head spinning around like, yo, if I walk into a dark room, that's what I see. The Exorcist.
Amityville was mine, bro. Watching that when I was a little kid. Yeah, so it's the
That's
same thing. Ain't no different. It
Yeah,
ain't
bro.
no different. So her reaction was when she got all this stuff when you
Oh,
came home
bro,
Saturday.
she
Yeah,
was she couldn't believe it. She was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" And I just put boop, 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 boop because it was like you said, the Funko Pop heaven. Because I
yeah,
went
yeah.
crazy with that, and with the picture, and then the whole nine. And then the funny part was, I snuck my stuff down to the basement, and she's like, "Hey, what do you got going on down there?" I was like, "Well, why don't you come and see?" And we got this.
Still doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, no. Well, no. My wife said obviously I couldn't sneak it in, but I just didn't show it off upstairs because if I'm
Gotcha.
showing off this crazy like beautiful artwork pieces like
That's
this,
freaking awesome.
you know
Right.
That's still a bet. That
these
thing's
things.
every time I look at it, I got it right there, and it's freaking awesome,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, if anything, Masters of the Universe, which I think separates it the most, and what I love is the artwork on
Oh, absolutely,
and I
absolutely.
think that's so dope. And we could be here all night. This is exciting stuff. It gets my blood flowing, my juices. I
Yeah,
really love it.
yeah.
And I love spending time with you guys. It was awesome. The Philly show, we kind of like downplayed the card show, but the Philly show was off the hook.
Oh, yeah.
We just wanted to get the juxtaposition of, card show versus toy show. So not knocking either one. Like I said, it's just a whole different vibe. And
But it's essentially uh, uh, the same drive. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Just at a different, just at a quieter level, I guess, if you want to say.
yeah.
But the passion is up here. The passion's up here for
Mhm.
both of them shows, and
But
both
yeah,
of
because
those
if
have at
somebody's
least
out there putting 50K or 100K on a card, there's passion for that
right,
particular,
right.
whether it be for an investment or whether it be for your PC. Once you're doling out that type of money, yeah, you got to have a passion for it, and that's the beautiful thing about the hobby. And honestly, to have both shows together, I think that's something that they should do more.
I think
Uh,
so too.
I
I
think it's
think it's a
pretty dope.
I think it's a win-win for them anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
And here's the deal:
no,
people from the card show are going into the toy show. People from the toy
and
show are
vice
going into
versa.
the card show.
Right.
So both are making out. So like
Yeah.
you said, it's a win-win.
Well, hopefully, with like we mentioned them in the beginning, or you mentioned them in the beginning about the Four Horsemen being there and stuff like that, and hopefully there's more and more, companies in the action figure game that want to get seen locally
Mhm.
and get that personal touch with their fans and stuff like that. I was talking to them dudes, man, and they're all, like three of them were designers, so they actually that's their company, so they're there selling the figures. They don't have
Mhm.
somebody else doing it, an assistant or whatever. It's them.
Right.
We designed this. This is our design, which I told them was pretty cool that they would, be amongst the people.
Yeah.
They start
That,
laughing and
that
like
that's
they're
always a
like we
dope.
are they're like we are the people. You know what I mean? There is no we are them. And I was like, yeah, it's true.
Dope.
So those stuff like that. It was totally different than the 9 years previously with those guys being there. Like there's always it's rare to have an actual toy designer company
Mhm.
kind of stuff. You always got everybody's selling their collections.
I
I mean,
guess
you
that's
rather
kind of
have
probably like another difference between the cards because you always have, people like CSG
uh-huh,
or, other types of sponsors that are at these card shows. And, you can see the companies there trying to sell their wares and,
right,
and
right,
let them
right.
know whether it's Upper Deck or, eBay or blah, blah, blah. They're always at these shows or the grading companies. So that might be a big difference.
Hmm.
But what I'm looking forward to is Cousins Collectibles. We're gonna get a sponsorship deal with somebody someday, and
Yes,
we're gonna get paid to start going to these shows, whether it's San Diego Comic Con or I don't know, Tokyo, wherever the big card shows, toy shows.
right.
We're gonna someday, mark my words, Cousins Collectibles, live and direct. We're gonna make it happen. Okay. And with
Have your
that being
have
said,
your people call
have
our
your people
people.
call my people, call the architect. Let's make it happen. And with that
Yeah.
said, keep focused, keep positive, and keep collecting. Hey, yo, Tone, bring the beat back, homie.